We won't let you have it your way, Curian.
The House of the Dead, ported by Tantalus and released on the Sega Saturn in 1998, is one of the last big games that Sega Saturn magazine would ever get to cover. They talked about it quite frequently to fill the spaces in the pages left by the scant release schedule for that year. Rather than delve too far into the history of the House of the Dead, let's mostly discuss the Sega Saturn game. Now, leave your preconceptions at the door of the House.
The House of the Dead.
Playing initially as Agent Rogan, or G, you're tasked with finding and stopping Dr. Curian as you chase him through the lab he's built inside a huge mansion. In the house, abominations crawl and fester, brought to life in all their polygonal glory on the Saturn. Decaying monkeys leap from chandeliers while zombies stagger around corners or emerge from hiding places as you race around trying to rescue civilian scientists. Doing this often means you take different routes through levels. This massively assists in longevity as after a few playthroughs you can pretty much memorize every scientist, and it's fun experimenting with saving or not saving them to see what happens. Gameplay is fundamentally the same as the arcade. You shoot enemies or environmental objects to find score items to shoot. If you take too many hits, you die. Enemy blood is green, but don't worry, you can get red blood with a cheat. It's a real shame that enemies have been given green blood at first, as they don't look quite right, and the rough texture work is helped a lot by a bunch of gore flying around as you dismember enemies with gunfire. After every level is a boss encounter, which can be played in a boss rush mode later, and if you die you can actually see the route you took through the level to plan ahead for another try. As much as I like the Virtua Cop games, I do get bored of them pretty quickly as there isn't really a lot to do. While there isn't a sort of training mode or anything in the Saturn game, there is Saturn mode, which not only allows you to choose your character, but unlock other characters too, like Sophie or a researcher. Saturn mode is fun as each character has slightly different specifications, like less health but more ammo, or they do more damage but have less ammo. This is a nice mode, and while it doesn't change the game that much, it's a welcome addition to spice things up.
I shall destroy everything.
What happened?
On presentation, the game is rough. I think it looks serviceable for what it is and what system it's running on, but some of the textures are inexcusably bad. The monsters have been ported pretty faithfully though, and the animation is great, so it's not all bad. The atmosphere of House of the Dead is still there, and to me, that's what matters. Not necessarily just super detailed textures. Sound is another place where House of the Dead excels. The music is super fun and crystal clear, and the voices never get old in how phoned in and cheesy the performances are. Will you suffer like G did if you play House of the Dead? Not at all. The game's extremely fun and you'll want to keep playing it repeatedly to see what you can find and how well you can end up doing next time. The last boss is particularly tough, so it's a pretty solid job just beating him. However, with multiple endings, Saturn mode and a hidden cheat menu to mess around with, there's quite a bit to do in the House of the Dead.